The month of May closes off very strongly with a game starring the voice of Arthur Morgan, some fantastic strategic roguelites, cozy games, action titles and more. So let's begin with Section 13, an action roguelite twin-stick shooter set within a secret underground facility. You play as an agent of the S2P Corporation, tasked with investigating a crisis at this top-secret base, battling anomalies while uncovering layers of a complex conspiracy involving the paranormal and rogue technology. Combat is frenetic, requiring precise dodge rolls and timely reloads with a variety of weapon unlocks and synaptic enhancements, which will be releasing out of early access after slightly less than 2 years. If the internet has taught me anything, players love to be threatened by a female character, see Slay the Princess or Me-Side for example, with the next game that looks to do so being SAEKO Giantess dating sim. You are a tiny character no taller than a thumb, living in a desk drawer under the watchful eye of a mysterious giant girl. By day, distribute items to your fellow tiny inhabitants to keep their health and appeal levels up so that they can stay alive, and by night, engage in tense conversations with SAEKO, responding with simple yes or no answers where a wrong choice could be fatal, where I presume you will get squished like a bug and might be huge, pun unintended. This video is brought to you by Witchy Business, a cozy job simulator title where you manage your own witchcraft shop, brew potions for customers and man the counter, catching thieves in the act and turning them into frogs while still attending to your customers as quickly as you can. In your downtime, you can grow flowers in the garden, explore the swamp to collect oddities for your next potion or upgrade your alchemy station to give you more crafting options, with the game having some very pretty hand-drawn art and gameplay variety in the form of mini-games on top of the management layer, so if interested, try the free demo on Steam and wishlist the game. One of the most interesting roguelites that I have my eye on is Sol Cesto, theoretically a turn-based dungeon crawler where you are a hero and descend through the layers of an ever-changing dungeon in search of the missing sun. However, each move is a roll of the dice, since a 4x4 grid is presented to you and you can only choose one of the 4 rows to explore, but you don't have a choice of the exact room, where it can be a monster, a treasure or a trap, leading to interesting strategy implications. Of course, you can tip the odds in your favour by using cursed teeth and magical items, altering the rules, but you might just unleash new perils as well. As you delve deeper, the dungeon's biomes change, introducing unique monsters and hazards that test your strategy, being an interesting mix of tactics and luck. There will be a variety of characters to unlock and play as, along with a simple but effective art style, and certainly stands out in this genre. Our first cozy title of the week, and there are a lot of them, is Dragon Song Tavern, Cozy and Adventurous, a farming life sim title which invites you to a seaside haven where you and your sibling run a tavern with a baby dragon. You plant crops, go fishing, and gather rare ingredients from magical lands. Each day, you cook meals, brew potions, and serve guests with unique stories. Your companions can help to manage the tavern and will even join you on quests, each bringing their own skills to the table. Most interestingly, you can go out into the world to explore, visiting 8 adventure maps, each filled with unique ingredients, fish, and plants, with there being a turn-based combat system as well, meaning that there's more of an RPG slant to this game. The world seems to be very charming, with an array of character customization options, as well as the ability to decorate your tavern, and looks like it's for fans of the genre. Love indie games? Sign up to my newsletter to get a weekly dose of what's hot, along with some news and of course, weekly game giveaways, so if interested, link is in the description below. This week also sees the release of 2T, the next title from developer Keita Takahashi and team, best known for the Katamari games, as well as the whimsical Watam, with this looking to be in a similar vein. You play as a teenager whose body is stuck in a rigid T pose, being a cheeky reference to video game bugs, but might have interesting implications in this world. Set in a quaint seaside town, Our main character has to go about living their daily life despite this unique condition. This includes exploring the town on foot or by train, or even on their favourite unicycle, where everyday activities like brushing teeth requires innovative solutions. There's a charming cast of characters, including your loyal, fluffy canine companion and caring mother, to a giraffe that makes scrumptious sandwiches, each adding to the world and narrative. There's a central plot about a mysterious object enveloped in light that falls from the sky, with the narrative unfolding over several in-game days, looking also adorable and should be neat. Other games begins with Automated Factory Puzzle, a subset of the Factory Builder title, since you are not constructing endlessly expanding automated production systems, but rather self-contained levels with size, power and time constraints. Build factories using the familiar conveyor belts, but also pipes and elevators, having to optimize your layout for maximum efficiency. Each level is a self-contained puzzle, and as you progress, you'll encounter new obstacles and discover innovative solutions, with the ultimate goal of transforming raw materials into finished products, where inverting what other factory builders are going for is smart, and I'm interested to see the reception to this. A third-person arena action shooter of interest is Code Zin Esper Arena, set within the Netsphere, a vast virtual realm where combat is king and glory awaits. As an Esper, you enter arenas to test your reflexes and strategy in fast-paced combat, using up to 3 weapons and a unique ability as you customize your loadout to match your playstyle. There is a focus on mobility, positioning and strategy as you make your way around the arena, with a variety of maps as well as the anime-inspired visuals adding to the presentation. Modes like Team Deathmatch and Touchdown are available, with each new match offering a new opportunity to refine your tactics and rise through the ranks. And in case it wasn't clear, this is online PvP only, so of course the worry will be player population. Another very anime looking title is CONERU Dimension Go, a 2D action platformer where you, a combat android, ends up being merged and sharing a body with CONERU, a mysterious dimensional girl. And in case that sounded weird, this is from a Japanese developer, which means that some of the terms might be strangely translated. Your two characters must thus work together in order to fend off a mysterious alien group known as the Hateful Fruit Company, running, jumping, dashing, and using both melee and ranged attacks on your enemies. CONERU's mood swings influences your combat style, altering her beam attacks and unlocking new powers when she is elated, where collecting comics or indulging in sweets can boost her spirits even further, triggering the accelerating run mode where speed and power surge dramatically. This is also framed as a date between the two characters, but plays as a platformer, being a very interesting mix of ideas. After a little bit of a delay, we have the release of CraftCraft Fantasy Merchant Simulator, one that comes to us from the developer of Death and Taxes, and looks to be a similar narrative-focused choose-your-own-adventure game. Run a shop in a cozy pot town where magic and metal meet, playing as a smith or a jeweler, crafting gear for the locals, having to attend to odd requests, and perhaps even develop relationships with the other characters. You might forge a sword using dragon blood, or to design a necklace for a mermaid where each handcrafted piece can change someone's fate. Customize your own character from moth, elf or cat, with your workshop reflecting your style. The crafting isn't just clicking buttons in a menu, but has a tactical feel to the design as you arrange the pieces yourself and go through every step of the process, looking to be somewhere in the same space as Tavern Talk or Strange Horticulture, and should be neat. Meta video games talking about game development do kind of lose me sometimes, with Debugging Hero giving you such a peek behind the curtain when the numbers and math behind a video game take center stage. Armed with a legendary sword and the power to manipulate variables, you don't just fight, you rewrite the rules of engagement mid-battle. Use cards that add, subtract, or multiply stats to boost your strength, weaken foes, or even turn enemies into allies by reducing their hostility to 0, turning the tide of battle to your advantage, with limitations of course. This variable manipulation extends to dungeons as well, since you can alter trap delays, nullify projectile damage, and outsmart any obstacle, looking like a cerebral kind of action-adventure game where I'm interested to see how far this concept gets pushed, and hey, who knows, might just get some people interested in game development. Alright, this next title is technically not an indie game since FUGA Melodies of Steel 3 comes to us from CyberConnect 2, which is a big company, but yet a turn-based RPG with tanks and anthropomorphic animals can be pretty niche. This is the conclusion of a series that goes back to 2021, and while the developer says that you don't need to have played the first or second game, I think it definitely helps. With it, understandably so, suffering as most sequels tend to do, with the first title being the most popular and declining from there. The protagonist of the first two games, Malt, has disappeared, which results in the rest of the children going on a desperate mission to commandeer the colossal Tyrannus tank once thought lost on this rescue mission. This journey leads them through the Burman Empire's treacherous terrain, confronting formidable foes known as the Crimson Knights. The turn-based combat is the central focus, having something known as weakness combos, which exploit enemy vulnerabilities for escalating damage, as well as assist attacks that bring unexpected allies into the fray. However, the gimmick of the original game is that you can sacrifice your character by loading them as ammo into the tank for a super-powered attack, leading to heart-wrenching choices, with no mention of that on the Steam page for the third entry, so we'll have to see, but it's certainly of interest to fans of the genre. An ultra-cozy title inspired by the likes of Islanders, Dofromantic, and Townscaper is Islands and Trains, a stress-free island sandbox which invites you to craft your dream railway line, design a train route around the island, and watch your diorama come to life. Go off the beaten track, winding around mountains and crossing lakes, placing animals down and customizing the surrounding countryside to your liking. There are no goals, no timers, no missions, and no mistakes, being more of an interactive toy that looks to reinvoke a sense of childlike wonder and play. Oftentimes, the critique is that these products are not really games in the traditional sense, since there is no lose condition, but I'm glad that experiences like this exist since they can be really relaxing. A title which is just cool is Jump the Track, where you play as Sam, a young dreamer struggling in the gig economy, where dead-end jobs and existential dread collide with a pachinko machine of fate. Sound intriguing? This blends visual novel storytelling with pachinko or pego-like boards, where launching a ball onto the board results in your narrative choices being made, determining the next twist in Sam's unpredictable journey. I love the hand-drawn art style here, with it supposedly having sharp humor as well, all around a theme that might be all too real for you young people in the audience around societal pressure and personal ambition. There is quite the quirky and interesting cast of characters who should add to the world, with the option to rebel against the system or to play it safe, with the character's fate resting in your hands, and if done right, could be one of those games that really makes you think and is the hidden gem of the week. Developer Doot has somewhat of a signature art style of leaning in the super cute direction, and their latest release is Kabuto Park, where bug catching becomes an art and tiny battles hold grand stakes. Play as Hana, a spirited girl on summer break, spending your days swinging a net to collect over 40 unique insects, including beetles, butterflies, bees, and dragonflies, all rendered in charming hand-drawn detail. Each catch isn't just for show, these critters become your champions in the summer beetle battles, engaging in delightful sumo-style matches, so basically Pokemon. There is a strategy to the combat, with each bug contributing cards to your deck, where your goal is to push opponents out of the ring. Victory isn't solely about strength, but more about choosing the right combination of bugs and timing your moves. Increase your chances of winning by feeding your insects candies to level them up, and upgrade your gear like boots and nets to access new areas and encounter rarer species. I absolutely love the art style here, so like I said, it's an excellent week for cozy games. Shifting things in terms of vibes is Missing Banban, a spin-off of the viral first-person horror game series where Garden of Banban continues to be extremely popular even if it isn't my thing. This game, however, might be more my speed, where you play as a character known as Sheriff Toadster, who has to rescue your missing friend in the world gone mad. This is a 2D side-scrolling action platformer which mixes tight platforming with chaotic shootouts, letting you dash, wall climb and blast through this insane looking world. Each level is a gauntlet of traps and twisted foes, from haunted forests to neon-lit factories, with familiar characters now being turned into monstrous bosses, and defeating them might be the only way to bring them back. Collect quirky weapons and unlock special abilities as the progression system in this game, helping you out in later levels, where I'm not sure where this ends up on the spectrum of difficulty, but it's interesting to see a game in this series in another genre. Classic point-and-click adventure game fans, Near-Mage will be the title for you this week. Coming to us from the developer of Gibber's A Cthulhu Adventure, and they have nailed the visual style of the games from the 90s. You play as a teenager, discovering your heritage, spending the summer in Transylvania, just to find out that you come from a long line of witches and can now enroll in the Transylvanian Institute for Magic, a place filled with mythical creatures and ancient secrets. Here, you study various types of magic, crafting spells that can alter the lives of those around you, giving you more options in the point-and-click adventure game fashion that does not simply involve using key items on another. This of course adds to the role-playing element of the game, giving you options and possibly multiple endings as you decide on what to do in each playthrough, since the spells themselves can be crafted and there is a build, so to speak, which you can work towards. As such, while it retains many of the same roots as the classics, they are doing something different, which should be commended, with some absolutely fantastic looking art and animation. Speaking of classic genres, the 3D platformer is another hallowed style of game that isn't all that common these days, so if you have been itching for one of these, PaperKlay will be of interest. Explore this handcrafted realm where cardboard cliffs and paper trees fold and twist beneath your feet. Guide Chick and his sidekick Nugget through this tactile world made of clay, paper and glue, where every surface can be flipped, rotated or unfolded to reveal hidden paths. Each area introduces new mechanics like ground pound switches or time-limited orb trails that keep you guessing and grinning as you explore this charming world. Meet quirky characters and engage in classic collectathon-style gameplay with an all-star voice cast and musical talent as well, looking to nail the feel from the golden age of 3D platformers and looks fun. I want to give a special mention to Sector Unknown Prologue, a free demo version of a story-rich CRPG which places you on the desolate planet Makul and where survival hinges on your choices. You escape a doomed prison transport, crash landing on this planet, and must transform a derelict mining facility into a secure base. Engage with local factions as allies or enemies as you uncover the dark secrets of the oppressive Star Frontier Corporation operating in the uncharted Null sector. Combat is turn-based, but diplomacy and strategic planning can offer alternative paths to success. The option is yours, whether it comes to brute force, cunning negotiation, or technological prowess, looking like quite the prospect, so certainly give this prologue a try if interested. In the early days of this channel, I came across a title named War Tau back in 2018. a turn-based tactics title on a hex grid with tabletop miniature-inspired units where the developer has been chugging along and is releasing Successor this week. This is a roguelite strategy adventure game that blends real-time and turn-based tactics. You command a party of heroes adventuring across procedurally generated kingdoms, each filled with unique challenges and secrets. At the start of each campaign, you choose from one of 3 distinct lords, each offering different combat styles and skill trees. Building a balanced team of heroes is essential, as each member brings unique strengths to the battlefield. Combat is on a hex grid and looks tactical, but allows you to pause the action at any moment, enabling precise control over your team's ability during critical focus moments. As you progress, you unlock new heroes, equipment and abilities for the next run, looking quite pretty as well, so if you love tactical titles, this will be of interest. Another interesting release this week is The Rewinder 2, the follow-up to a point-and-click adventure game from 2021, which has over 6,500 Steam reviews, so one would think that you would do more of the same in the sequel, but instead, the developer has changed genres and made it a Zelda-style action-adventure game instead. Set in a world drawing upon Eastern mythology, you play as the last known Rewinder, wielding divine powers and exploring haunted villages to unravel the dreams that ensnare lost souls. The 3/4 view introduces spatial puzzles which were not there in the original, and also adds combat, so I'm not sure how that is going to play out as you acquire mystical runes and charms, granting you abilities to face formidable bosses and navigate treacherous dungeons. Each region, from snow-laden peaks to ancient temples, teem with mystery and secrets waiting to be uncovered, where you will encounter supernatural creatures, collectively termed Yao Guai, along the way, each with their own stories to tell, some seeking friendship, others confrontation. The pixel art appears to be much more refined as compared to the original, looking quite good, with early reviews being positive and might be worth a look. We also have the 1.0 release of Trash Goblin, another merchant simulator title this week, which is higher than usual, where you play as a goblin, taking deliveries of bags of craft and then having to unearth curios by chipping away at them with your tools, scrubbing, cleaning, and then upcycling them into treasures for a cast of interesting customers. The unearthed items can be combined in imaginative ways, creating thousands of unique variations. Your workshop can be upgraded, increasing the size of your space, getting better tools, and to decorate and customize the shop to your liking. Eventually, you might be able to move to more upmarket locations and to find more demanding customers there, with the 1.0 launch including a full story campaign, 33 NPCs, each with their own unique quest lines, a Trinketpedia which catalogues all items found, and much more, looking like quite the cozy, relaxing experience. This one's for indie game developers. The free indie game marketing resources are ready, so sign up via the link in the description below to get it in your mailbox. The developer of Kettle Country managed to secure the voice actor of Arthur Morgan for the game and led their marketing with that, being the perfect match for this Western-themed farming life sim title. Set on the frontier, carve out a life of your own from scratch, beginning as a lone pioneer, setting up camp on the edge of a rugged town nestled in the mountains. Each day offers choices: till the soil, raise cattle, or venture into the wild to hunt and gather. The land is rich with resources, but also fraught with danger, with bandits and not so friendly neighbours to deal with. Forge relationships with the townsfolk, some of whom may become more than friends, as you help them and uncover their stories. Your homestead evolves as you build, craft and customize, reflecting your journey and decisions made. There are also classic Western tropes like gunfights and train robberies, looking to be a very focused, themed version of the general farming sim that we have come to know and love, where the unique theme is its strength and looks like a hit. What is old is new again in Void War, a roguelite strategy title that sure looks like FTL faster than light, but where it has been 13 years since the game, so maybe the timing is perfect for a new generation. Your ship is both sanctuary and a weapon, as you helm this ancient relic of power, outfitting it with arcane modules and devastating weapons to survive relentless assaults from cultists, pirates, and imperial zealots as you make your way to the heart of a dying empire. There are definitely some Warhammer 40k vibes from this, due to factions like the Techno-Cultist Magi, Imperial Deserters, Demon Lords, and more, which you can somehow recruit onto your ship as crew, being extremely helpful in the combat scenarios. FTL fans should be familiar with the combat, but in case you are not, you need manpower to man the various stations like weapons, shields, or engines, where charged up weapons fire on the enemy ship, but enemy attacks on your vessel can cause things like fires on board, which you then need to send a crew member to deal with. There should be some sort of resource or fuel system which forces you to explore, along with random events and choices to be made, looking like quite the tribute, but does its own thing and is one of the most wishlisted games on Steam for good reasons. I love fishing in games, which is why Night's Day for Fishing got my attention, one which casts you into the pixelated world of Azerim, where Balin, a once humble fisherman NPC, now shoulders the fate of the town of Honeywood after the heroes of the realm mysteriously vanish. Set off on an unexpected adventure, wielding a fishing rod as your primary weapon and your boat as a means of transportation and exploration. Fishing is of course central to the game, with a variety of fish to catch, but this also extends to combat against bosses, where I'm very curious to see how this will work out. As an RPG, you can upgrade your gear, allowing your tackle to reach deeper, for example, gaining access to hidden caves for more powerful upgrades and items. There's also resource gathering, allies to add to your party, and even powerful spells to unlock, being a full-on RPG experience with a fishing theme. This also comes to us from YouTube channel and sketch comedy troupe Viva la Dirt League, with over 7 million subscribers, being a significant amount of marketing muscle behind this game. Strategy game fans, the title of the week has to be As We Descend, a roguelite deck builder with a fantastic presentation set in the last city of humankind, where every card you play could tip the balance between survival and ruin. The city is descending deeper and deeper into the ground, and you need to command squads to fight off waves of enemies. Each unit adds unique cards to your deck, with the right mix of units being critical to tackle what is coming. Combat looks intriguing, with the guard and support zones to contend with, where you can move units between these two areas, which adds to the strategy. As you descend through 3 distinct biomes, you'll face titanic foes and uncover secrets that reshape your understanding of this world. Also, the battlefield isn't your only concern, since within the city walls, political intrigue, competing factions, and resource scarcity demand your attention, forcing you to make tough decisions which affect your allies and your mission. The city also looks to be the central hub for meta progression upgrades, with each new run offering new units, unlocks, and challenges. Back to action titles with this game, last seen in my video on the best upcoming action-adventure titles, where Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo is a self-styled Yo-Yo-vania, where our hero explores the city, reclaiming territory from rival crime lords across more than 1,000 screens. This looks very GBA inspired and is a throwback to 2D Zelda games, but with some interesting looking combat and traversal. But my god, how great does this game look? Watch this video for the action adventure games video that I was talking about.